Check, check, check. Check on the mic. Check on the mic. Mic check, mic check. All right. Let's do some instrument flying. Leaky knees, what's up? You ready to see me do some IFR practice? Let's make a flight plan. All right, this looks like it's connected to X-plane. That's what we want. Let's do something basic. Tomorrow I'm gonna practice some approaches, so I'm gonna do tomorrow I'm flying IRL, so I'm gonna practice what I'm gonna fly tonight. Let's do Caldwell. Okay, that's fine. Let's do procedure. Let's do an approach procedure. Let's do a Dexy. That sounds good to me. All right, so this is an approach procedure plate. This is all the information we need to fly all the way down to a runway to 200 feet above the runway without being ever able to see the ground or the runway at all. So it's kind of fun stuff. It's kind of fun that you can do this. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take off from runway 28 out of Boise. Once we take off, we'll be a left turn to a Dexy at 5,000. And then out of Dexy, we'll do the hold. Well, actually, no. Technically, no. We're not supposed to do the hold because it says no PT right here. So we won't do the hold. PT is it's called a procedure turn. That's what this little like racetrack thing is. So we won't do that racetrack. And then, so we'll come straight in and we'll do it. So let's actually get rid of the racetrack. We'll come in here and we'll go remove hold. Boom. So then that'll go away. Now, we'll set it up on here just so we have it. We'll come, now that I have it in that thing, let me switch us over to this window and I'll set it up in my airplane GPS. I'm not gonna do a flip because I'm practicing what I'm supposed to do in the plane IRL tomorrow. And I don't want to do a flip IRL. I'm just gonna fly to Caldwell because we all know Caldwell's a fun place. Maybe I can do a flip. Maybe I'll do a flip at some point. Okay, we'll come back here. We'll go back here. We'll do procedure. We'll do approach into the Caldwell. We're doing the RNAV runway 30 LPV. We're going to go to a Dexy. We are not going to fly the course reversal at a Dexy. Let's actually load the approach and activate. Boom. Next thing up is a Dexy. Come to our map. We'll zoom out. And goes the Dexy all the way down to our runway at Caldwell. Great. Cool. Let's go zoom in. We're all set up there. All right, we need to be at 5,000 feet. So let's set our altimeter on, let's set our altitude bug on the flight sim. Set that altitude to 5,000 feet. That'll just remind us to stop climbing there. Boom. Great. And then we'll be flying course. We'll do 282 on the heading bug because that's the runway heading. All right, we're ready for takeoff. We'll just zoom into the instruments because we're going to be flying on the instruments. All right, let's brief this whole approach before we take off because it'll be a pretty quick takeoff and then fly straight into the approach. So we're just going to brief it as if I was actually going to fly it. So if you look down on my iPad screen, on the left side there, I've got my approach brief up. This approach plate that we're going to use to brief this is valid until the 19th of March. It is not the 19th of March, so we're still current. This is a WASP GPS approach. Final approach course is 299. We have 5,500 feet of runway available to us. The touchdown zone elevation is 2,432. For runway 30 helicopter visibility doesn't apply to us. Barrow VNAV not authorized. That's okay. That's not what we're using. When using Boise altimeter, we'll be using Caldwell altimeter setting. On a VNAV, we would have to increase if we had to use the other altimeter setting, but we won't. On the missed approach, it'll be climb to 5,000 direct red V and hold. All right, so for our radios, our comms will be, weather will be 135075, Big Sky approach, which we'll be talking to on departure, will be 119.6. The CTAF frequency for Caldwell is 123.0. And then Big Sky departure again, 119.6. Already checked the notes. We'll be at a DEXI at 5,000, then BABT at 4,100. That's our final approach fix where we'll configure to land. CABEP at 3,140, and then our decision altitude, minimum altitude for our LPV minimums are 2,687. Missed approach, climb 5,000, direct red V. Okay, great. This is what we should expect to see on short final. Got some runway end lights and a PAPI. That's what we're looking for. PAPI and runway end light, green runway end lights. All right. Enough of that. Let us fly this bish. Okay. All right. While the parking brake's on, I'm gonna do a quick power setting check. We'll go 1,700 RPM. And then we'll lean our mixture out until we see a rise in RPM and then a drop, and then we'll go back to where we saw the rise and leave it there. That's mixture set best power. Rotate 55, climb out 75, 72 would be best climb in a 172. And we'll go throttle back. We've got plenty of runway for takeoff. We'll go parking brakes off. And we'll go full power. Right rudder. Ooh, right rudder, right rudder. These rudder pedals are not set up well. There we go. There we go. Now the sensitivity is about right. All right, full power. Power set. Full power. We're making full power. Instruments in the green. Airspeed's alive. 50. Rotate. All right, we'll fly the runway heading. Climb out 72. Going up to 5,000. And we're in the clouds. And there's 400 feet, so we'll begin a left turn to intercept our GPS course. Keep the turn coming, standard rate. Alright, that's a set us up for a good intercept. One more right rudder. Welcome to the sky. No more eyes for you. Hope you like watching a stream where we just watch the instruments. Because that's all I'm doing. Every day. Luke's on the chat. That's it.
It's like, what are you talking about?
Alright, let's zoom in here. There we go. Get our GPS. Alright, our GPS is coming in. Let's twist this. We want a 240. Start a little turn. Alright, we're 400 feet or 500 feet to our desired altitude. We're starting a little right turn to bring that magenta needle centered. Oh, just Luke, there's also leaky elbows. My B. Forgot about leaky elbows. My chat's really tiny. I can barely see it. Alright, 200 feet to go. Alright, course is coming back in. We're going to pull some power back. About 2400 RPM. And we're going to level off here. 5,000 feet. Our airspeed's going to build up. Alright, next up is a Dexy. A Dexy will be a right-hand turn. After a Dexy, we can go down to 4,100. Oh, let's not climb anymore. Get our power back a little bit. Leaky knees, everybody knows you're Luke. All three people here know you're Luke. Okay. Get back down to our altitude. Climbed a little too high. I'll dox you every day of the week, son. Gotta let all the baddies in chat know where you are. Alright, come on. Keep her coming down to 5,000. Alright, right turn at Dexy. After a Dexy, we're down to 4,100. Alright, we're on course. Alright, here we go. 5,000. There we go. 5,000. Up next to Dexy. Right hand turn to 299. Right hand turn to 299.
It's just rain.
Go ahead and put this on 299. This airplane that I'm flying in the flight simulator is actually less well equipped than the plane I fly in real life. Alright, let's stay at 5,000. That's our minimum altitude. Alright, the plan will be to fly the missed approach. We'll do what's called going missed, which means we'll pretend like we can't see the runway, which we might not be able to in this soup. Look at that soup. It's all gray up there. Nothing to see. Alright, here comes a Dexy in 2.1 miles. It'll be right turn to 299.
Vertical track.
All right, top of descent, 1 minute. Roger that. We'll right turn down to 4,100. In fact, that's about to come up, so we'll go on. Whoops. $4,100 is our next altitude. We'll bug that. We're 0.9 away from our fix. All right, top of descent, right in 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, we're gonna pull some power. We're gonna right turn, standard rate. We're going down 900 feet, so nothing too crazy. All right. We got a glide slope indication shown up. All right, we want to wait for the little, on the right, you see those bars? There's a bar on the right side of my lower instrument and right beside my attitude indicator, my like wings level instrument. That's got a little pink dot at the very top. Here, I'll zoom in, boom, this right here. What I want is I want to wait till that pink dot gets all the way down to the middle of that little bar right next to the altitude. And when that happens, I will start my descent for real. That's the glide slope indicator. I'm a little bit left. I'm going the speed. I want to fly this at 90, so 90's good. I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to watch my default nav. That'll tell me my distances to everything. I actually want to level off here. So I'm going to add a touch of power. Just to slow down that descent. Let that glide slope come to me. Come back to the right a little bit. Alright. We're on localizer. We're not on glide path yet. At BABT, we'll start configuring to land. So we're still 2 minutes out from BABT. Come back to the left a hair, level the wings. Alright, I need to hold that off. Hold that off. At about 50 to 100 RPM. Just to keep my speed and my altitude, because I want that glide path to come in. Don't need to climb though, that's for sure. We'll just keep it at 90 knots. Alright, glide path is starting to make its way in. Ground speed is 93. So we will need approximately 450 foot per minute descent once the glide slope is intercepted to maintain it. Which is good, that's what we want, that's what we want. It'll be pretty stable, and we're hanging right around 90, and the glide path is coming in, and we are 40 seconds from BABT. Alright, we can do our flaps at BABT, so we'll go ahead and configure a notch of flaps. Go ahead and nose trim for that, so we don't lose too much speed. And there's our glide path, so now we can descend at about 450 feet per minute. Keep the nose down, trim that out, trim it out, courses to the left. Alright, now we're on the glide slope, so let's set our minimums down to 2,700. And we need more descent, So we're gonna push the nose forward, and we're a little slow, so that's good. Pull a little power, get the nose down a little bit more, do a little bit more than 500 feet a minute. Alright, glide path is coming back in. Minimums are 2,700. Glide path is back here. Let's come back to the left. There we go. And we need a little bit more descent. Let's push the nose over. Hit 90. That'll get us what we need. There we go. Now she's coming back. Now she's coming back. 1,000 feet to minimums. Let's go back to 90. Hit 90. That'll get your descent. That'll get your glide path recaptured. There we go. On localizer, on glide path, on speed, continuing. Three-mile final. Alright, let's add a little bit of... slow down our descent. Keep it at about 450. Ground speed is still 91. Yeah, perfect. So 450 is going to hold us. Alright, we have 500 feet to minimums. On localizer, on glide slope, on speed. Looking pretty. Stabilized 87. Looking for right around 450 feet per minute descent. That's going to hold us. Let's come back to the right a couple degrees. Just to get that deflection out of the CDI. We're getting more sensitive as we get closer. 500 feet AGL, 200 feet to go. Come back around to the right. Push the nose down a little bit, recapture that glide slope. Alright, here we go. We are 100 feet from minimums. No runway in sight. We're approaching minimums. And we've reached minimums. No runway in sight. Oh, there's the runway. You can barely see it. We're going to cram. We're flying missed approach. We're going to climb. We're going to clean it up. Clean up the airplane. Fly the missed approach. Come back around to the right. We're going to activate the missed approach on the GPS. Missed approach is climb 5,000. Keep that climb coming. Go up to 5,000. Direct red V. If you want to look closer at what we've done so far, here's the map. See, now we're flying away from Caldwell. Flying away from Caldwell on what's called the missed approach procedure. This procedure is designed to keep you away from obstacles in the event that you're flying under instrument flight rules, so that you can set up and do perhaps another approach, or maybe you need to divert to another airport, etc., etc. So we'll zoom into here. Keep that climb coming. Is my trim not working? I feel like I'm not being able to trim my aircraft. There we go, that's better. Alright, so Now, we're actually going to rebuild. We're going to redo another approach. We're going to do the opposite runway into Caldwell. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do change approach. I'm going to do GPS 1, 2. And I'm actually going to do, we're going to do it from Redvi. And we are going to fly the procedure turn. So I'm going to add that to route. Boom. So now I'm flying direct Redvi. Let's do Redvi, direct 2. Great. Whoa, I'm getting away from my track here. Let's come back around to the left. We're 300 feet to go to 5,000. Here's 5,000, so we'll push the nose over. Level her off. Let the airspeed build. And we'll come back around to the right. Bada bing, there's 5,000. And we're on track. Alright, we're going to come back into here. We're going to do procedure. We're going to do approach. We're going to do RNAV GPS 1, 2. Transition will be Redvi. And we're going to load approach and activate. We're going direct Redvi. Yep, and it's got the procedure turn in it. That's what we want. Come back around to the left. About 500 feet high. No, 100 feet high, 120 feet high. I'll pull my power back to about 2450. 24. It's good, 24. All right, at Redvi, we'll do a parallel hold, which means we'll fly out the outbound course and then turn around, come back in. We'll stay at 5,000. Final approach course will be 119. Touchdown, same runway length, same touchdown zone elevation, pretty flat runway. We'll be coming back at Redvi 5,000, and then Sea Love will be 4,100. It's basically just a mirror image of the other approach. Sea Love 4,100, and then LPV minimum's 2,700 on this guy. So we'll leave our bug at 5,000 for now. All right, next up, Redvi, procedure turn, then Redvi again. Alright, if we lost our vertical navigation, we would switch to our LNAV minimums of 2,840, so 140 feet higher, which is what will happen tomorrow when I'm flying. My instructor's going to be like, alright, you don't have these instruments now. What do you do? So I have to fly it without some of my instruments, which mostly means I change my minimum altitude that I descend to. Ooh. All right, coming up, we're at Fedev. or red V, and we're gonna do a hold parallel. So 298, and we'll get function 3, 2, 1, start. Gonna start our timer. We're gonna do, oh, they actually want me to do teardrop, so 288. My GPS wants me to do 288, so that's what I'm gonna do. Just gonna follow my GPS for this guy. The GPS is a powerful tool, man. The situational awareness it provides, unmatched. Alright, brief the rest of the approach. Pretty much all the same notes as the other approach, except for... Yeah, it looks good. Oh, except for technically this procedure is not authorized at night. So we're flying it at night, but technically we're not supposed to. But who cares? It's flight sim. Right, we'll wait until our GPS prompts us to start a turn. This GPS is almost the same one in the plane that I fly regularly. It's pretty dang close. Amazing the plugins they have for Flight Simulator these days. Whiskey. Saying what way? All right. Looks like we're about ready to turn here any second. All right, got 1, 2, 2, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're gonna turn right. We're gonna do standard rate, add some rudder, add a little back pressure so you don't lose altitude. A little faster would be good. This is what's called a procedure turn. Well, it's actually called a hold in lieu of a procedure turn. But basically, what it does is it gets your airplane lined up with the runway if you're coming from the exact opposite direction. So you're supposed to fly it when you're like, it's charted out for you. It's charted out for you, and then you'll fly it if you're coming at the approach fix is what it's called, the initial approach fix, which we came at Red V as the initial approach fix. And the course is coming in. We'll keep that turn coming. Getting close. Keep that altitude. Keep that altitude. Keep that altitude. Keep that altitude. I think on my check ride, I think it's like for a portion of the flight like this, it's a plus or minus 100 feet that I gotta keep my altitude. Right, course is just a little bit to our left. It's coming in. All right, after Red V, we can go down to 4,100. We should intercept the intercept the glide slope at some point. Once we get that flag enunciated, we'll just level off and fly into it. So basically what happens is the glide slope brings you down the runway like this, and you're flying along like this. You want to fly up from underneath of it, intercept it, and then start descending along it. Alright, next up, Red V. We'll be on the same approach course, which is 119. We're looking at 121 is what we're flying right now to hold out. So we'll bug that. Looking at 5,000 feet.
Vertical track.
Vertical track. There she is. There's your guide. Alright, we're going to slow her down a little bit. We're going to pull power back about 50-ish knots. But we don't want to descend. We want to just keep our altitude. And that should then slow our airspeed. Pull back a little bit more. We're looking for 90 knots. Alright, we're approaching point 1 and we're about to cross. Alright, we've crossed it and we have a glide slope enunciation or indication. So now we're just going to hold this altitude until we've intercepted the glide path. If we didn't see that glide path bar come up, that means we would not, or we would descend to the next altitude, which would be 4,100. But our GPS is sequencing correctly and enunciating correctly, which means we have the proper navigational signal we need to fly this down to the lowest minimum altitude available on the chart, which again, just for reference, is 2,700. So I'm actually going to bug 2,700 now, because we have glide slope enunciation. So we'll keep that 2,700. Keep this until the glide path comes in, and we're already flying at our speed. Our ground speed is now more like 100 knots, so we have a tailwind, which means we need to descend at about 500 foot per minute once we've intercepted the glide path. All right, glide path is moving in. That's what we'd like to see. I think the reason why I like flying instrument in real life is because it's literally just a video game. You've got two little screens and you got a dot, and you're just trying to keep your plane on that dot the whole way down. Surprised more pilots aren't gamers, you know? Alright. Glide path is intercepted. We're going to pull some power. We're going to establish a 500 foot per minute descent. If we're in a plane with a carburetor, we do our carb heat on at this point. A little more than 500 foot to get it back, and then let's trim it for a stabilized 500 foot. Next up is our final approach fix of Selov. We're 2.1 out from that. We'll begin configuring to land before then. Alright, we're a little high. Let's push the nose over. Get a little bit faster than 500 foot per minute to bring it back. Alright, she's back. Let's go 500 foot per minute. Ground speed's 94, so actually we need about 470 feet per minute. Right in between 4 and 5. Keep it right there. We're within standards. Alright, we're need to come back to the left. We got a desired track of 122 and a real track of 125. So let's actually put it at 121 and 122. There we go. Stabilized descent. 121, 122. That'll bring the course back in. Back to the left a little bit. 122. Oh, come on. Get back to the left. There you go. Too much. Bring it back in. We're on glide path. Descend just a hair faster. Push the nose over. Alright, we're going down to minimums of 2,700. Alright, we're on the localizer. Let's get back to a 122. 121, 122. There we go. Keep it on 122. Push the nose over a little bit. We need a little more than 500 foot per minute at this rate. On speed. A little bit to the left of the localizer. A little bit high. Let's get a little bit more descent going. And we've passed Selov. We should have configured to land, so I'm going to put a notch of flaps in. At this point, we do our pre-landing checklist. Come back around to the left. We need more descent. We need more descent. We need to keep our airspeed 90. We can do that by just pushing the nose over. Sometimes the best way to descend is just to push the nose over. Push that nose over, Poppy. Push the nose over. Get that glide slope back. Get back onto your localizer. Keep that glide slope where it is. 3-4 for 2-7. There we go. There's the glide path. We're a little left of the localizer. Alright, we're 3-1 for 2-7. 400 feet to go. Well, like 500. A little left of localizer. It's coming back in. We don't need more than a couple degrees correction. We're a little low, so we're coming in. Just a touch of power, just a touch of nose up attitude. 1-2-3. It's getting us back to a 1-2-2. Glide slope is coming back in. Let's keep it to the right just a hair longer. 1-2-3 would be great. Little right rudder. Little right rudder. There we go. 1-2-2. Alright, here's our minimum altitude coming up. Let's push the nose over. Stay on glide path. Stay on airspeed. And we're going way above. And here's our MDA. There's the runway lights. We're going to pull power. Add another notch of flaps. Zoom out a little bit. Now we're visual. We're a little high. We'll pull power. Let's add another notch of flaps. And she's down, boys. She's down. We did a not authorized for night approach at night. Oh well. It was just to practice reading the instruments. Insert clapping. Yay. Where's the taxiway? Find a taxiway. I missed the taxiway. Oh well. We'll just break. We'll just stop it here. Boop. Alright, then we'll go all our lights off, landing light off, blah blah off. Then we'll go pull our mixture out. Boom. We'll turn our avionics off. Turn our master off. Turn our mags off. Time to go to sleep. Let's see. Alright, let's check out this. Let's look at what we did. So if I take off, here, let's hide this. Let's hide that. Let's do... Turn that off. Here we go. Now you can kind of see a map. If you're familiar with the Boise area, kind of see something you're more used to. Let's also get rid of this and this stuff. There we go. So, took off from Boise. Left-hand turn, intercepted the course to Adexi. Adexi was the initial approach fix for the runway 12 or runway 30 approach. We came in, we did that approach, blah 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 blah, and then we went missed and flew directly out towards, I forget the name. What was the name of that fix? Zoom out. Red V. And we went almost all the way out to Parma. Actually, yeah, all the way out to Parma. Turned around and then flew back in. And then came and landed at Caldwell. Alright. I think I'm ready for tomorrow. I just have to do that probably with half the instruments that I did it with tonight. Well, I think that's all for this evening. Thank you for those of you who tuned in, Leaky Knees and Leaky Elbows. Your participation was nice to have. Alright. I think that is all. Hearts to all. Hearts to all. Thanks.